Member Littleball.
Please, Mr. Speaker. There are so many unintended consequences with this tax that aren't spelled out. Farmers that grow grain. The member from Leduc-Beaumont lives in a rural area, or his constituency is rural. Farmers that grow grain other than to feed their own or feedlot cattle mostly ship that grain for sale. That means it has to run through an elevator, then it has to be shipped. So rail already saw an increase in diesel fuel in the last NDP budget. So I would assume that rail will take another hit on fuel with this carbon tax. A farmer may have his product hauled to town to that elevator, and that sometimes means hiring a trucker. That is a commonly used form of getting grain to town. I mean, some folks have spent their money on their farms on other priorities. It's hard sometimes for farmers to have the ideal piece of equipment that they need for every operation. So farmers hire truckers quite a bit throughout this province to haul their grain to the elevator. The elevator itself has a lot of electrical motors and such that elevate that grain. I've talked to one of the last independent grain elevators in Western Canada. The amount of electricity used in their Alberta elevators is 111 megawatts of power per month. That's an average amount of power, so multiplied by 12, of course, is 1,332 megawatts in a year. That cost has to be passed on to someone. They aren't going to eat that cost. It'll be passed on to the producer. The price is poised to increase anyway as the result of the wind down of coal-fired power. So even though we don't know exactly how much that will be, the estimate in the Canadian Tax Journal was that a $30 per ton carbon tax could increase the consumer price of electricity by about 7 to 8%. A bit less in the first $20 per ton increase, about 5%. That may not be the correct percentage at the end of the day, but you understand, I haven't heard what it may be, and understanding that the regulations are still in the process of being written, so if I was handed Bill 20 today and had to read it, I would understand that electricity is going to rise by that much. What if a farmer irrigates? He has a cost for electricity for running those pumps that actually get the water to the crop, and he has a cost for electricity to run the pivots, or whatever kind of irrigation equipment he uses. Only one person pays for that. Only one person pays that extra cost. Sure, the purple fuel on a farm is exempt. That is great that this government took the initiative and was determined to help out the number 2 industry in Alberta. But do you see the unintended consequences that appear as we dig a little deeper? So many costs that have to be passed on to the producer. I'm only talking about one industry here. A producer that cannot dictate the price of his grain. He's at the mercy of a global market. That's something that farmers worked for a couple of decades ago and wouldn't change it now for anything. And now he's going to have to be charged more to grow his grain, more to get it to the elevator, more to get his product to the coast in export position, because locomotives will be paying more for fuel, and we'll have to pass the cost on to the user. Just when they go through Alberta. Well, this is where we are. So for the member, Mr. Speaker, do you understand the cost passed on to this one industry in Alberta? Producers in this province will have to pay more to get the same. I just wondered if you understand the unintended consequences. Thank you.
Honourable member from Leduc-Beaumont.
Unlike what opposite members continue to say, we do completely understand, and that's all I'm going to say about that.